Okay, hey everybody, welcome to another week of Jobsticker's Job Seeker Resource Group. Hope all is well. And thank you again for all the support and for everybody just joining in or watching the video after we're live. So today I wanted to cover job loss counseling. So, it's tough when you're out there and you're trying to, you know, make ends meet or progress your career or what have you, and you get hit with, a layoff or some sort of termination that, quite frankly, you might not have seen coming. And sometimes that can weigh heavy on your mind. I know when I was laid off after the '08 meltdown, the financial crisis, I myself had a bit of a meltdown. I struggled with some anxiety problems there and just didn't know what I was going to do with my life next. And it can be very estranged feeling from your normal self, as well as something where, you got to really start internalizing and visualizing and realizing just what you're going to do next. And then you got to figure out a game plan to kind of get there. So it could be very tricky. Just first and foremost, I would say lean on people, personally and professionally, to begin to start to see the light again, so to speak. But literally just tap some people that are around you, let them know if you're having some feelings of grief or fear or what anxiety, and ask them to be a support system. You cannot do this alone. First and foremost, you definitely want to express your feelings, even if it's once a week, a cup of coffee with your friend, or virtual coffee, or a spouse or what have you. So first and foremost, though, is you definitely want to handle it as pragmatic as possible, right? So if finances are an issue, start to think of places where maybe you can cut some of the expenses. Maybe get rid of Netflix or whatever, maybe little incentive, little fun little things you might be doing every month, like a at-home box delivery of wine or something like that. Just start to look and see where your proper expenses should be allocated, so that way you can at least continue the things that you truly need and not so much want. You can get back to the wants. Obviously, having a work-life balance includes some of those wants and hobbies, and those things you can still hold on to, but just think of some ones that aren't as expensive or maybe that are just free. So a lot of different approaches to this, but first and foremost, get your finances on track so you can see how long you can go, or visualize and plan what you need to do to make sure you're meeting your financial burdens for the time that you are job hunting. And second, don't beat yourself up too much. This is something that happens time and time again with folks that, we're all in the same boat. I myself have been laid off twice. So again, I know the feelings of that, and don't give up on yourself. You're not the problem. There were issues sometimes. Maybe you had some issues that you were personally accountable for when you were at work. Know that you need to tidy up some of those bad habits you might have to be more successful in the next role, but know that you can definitely get through this. It's just a matter of figuring out, where you might have went wrong. And if it wasn't your fault, or you were just a victim of, the bottom line kind of thing, just know you're not alone. There's plenty of people in the same boat. And because I was laid off in '09, I actually started my small business that I have today. So there's always that little silver lining. You just got to look for it. So this could be a new way to reinvent yourself and get yourself into a new position that, quite frankly, might make you happier than where you were before. So definitely look into first unemployment as well. I'm a big believer of, taking advantage of some of those government services that will provide you some sort of relief or security. So definitely file for some unemployment if you're eligible, and start to figure out, maybe if you lost your insurance plan, go and figure out some coverage options that you might be able to enroll into. And then when it comes to the professional side of things, start trying to really map out and write and record some ideas, right? So maybe, what are your strengths? What do you like doing? What gets you going inside when either you're thinking about it or researching a topic about that? And then try to put that up against what's realistic for what you can do next. And if you could find that nice meshed kind of idea of what you think would be your next good role, that also is a viable option for you to actually attack and try to start, doing. That can be that one little sweet spot that you can then use as the basis for all the rest of the preparation coming. So before I get ahead of myself a little, let me just say a few things about coping with the job loss. So these negative feelings, whether it's inadequacy, embarrassment, insecurity, devastation, what have you, it can grow and morph into some sort of anxiety or depression. So you need to immediately start coping the way you could be coping. Maybe, get yourself out of situations that might make you overthink, or go and take a jog, or if you were someone who was of faith, maybe, lean on some of your faith and your principles, just things that, make you feel better about yourself. Those are the things you want to implement or continue doing to make sure you're keeping yourself, mind, body, soul, everything is kind of in unison, because that balance is key for you to be able to thrive in whatever the new kind of job or role you want to do, or career. And then I would say, secondly, is you need to keep a calendar and keep yourself accountable, just like when you were doing at your job. Having a rotating kind of routine that you can continuously still execute, even if you're at home. So, you might be looking for work. Well, then make a certain amount of hours per day solely focused on work stuff, whether it's applying online, networking and building relationships on different platforms, cold messaging hire managers and recruiters and talking with recruiters. So definitely keep a schedule and try to really hold yourself accountable. I found that helped me deal with my pressures a lot easier, just because you got up knowing what you're going to be doing that day. It wasn't as daunting or unclear, which can also lead, kind of some confusion, anxiety. So you have a clear focus each day, and then hold yourself accountable. Again, make sure you're checking off all the boxes for the day, because no one else is going to do it for you. So you definitely have to make sure you kind of have that wherewithal and, that resilience, so that you can keep pushing forward. And again, I just mentioned some stress relievers, maybe get a massage. I know that's a little bit of an expense, but I always tell my clients, if they get laid off, take a week off and just decompress and start to visualize kind of the next things that you might be trying to do. But be patient with yourself, and be in kid glove the process at first. Be very mindful that, you need to take a mental break for a week. And so I like to say that, within that week, maybe start writing a journal of ideas, just so you can come back and revisit it once you actually start attacking your strategy. Gardening, eating healthy, reducing caffeine or alcohol, meditating, talking with others, going back to church, yoga, exercise, volunteering. That's a good way to also fill a gap if you're unemployed. You can go and do some volunteer work, experiential work, or even internships, freelance kind of gigs, consultancy work. So, there's a lot of different things you could be doing to kind of still be upskilling and kind of staying relevant in what you're doing or what you want to do. And lean on a mentor. There's plenty of availability of resources out there to find a mentor. So maybe start asking the right questions about whatever you're trying to pursue, just to kind of get you headed off in the right direction, where then you can figure out what other little gaps you need to plug, so that way you're kind of progressing in that career. So you might learn something that opens up 3 more questions. Then you've learned those, and so on, until you're at the point where you kind of have this aha moment of, I know what I'm doing. I know what I want to do. Now I'm going to start implementing the right solutions and strategies to get to that end game. And finally, again, finding help. If there's mental health support that's out there. There's a ton of different social services, human services type offerings that are free. There's local SCORE, SCORE, local SCORE associations that help small business owners kind of get started. So if you're interested in entrepreneur work, so there, just go online and start doing some research, and take a day to just start putting these little seeds and plant little seeds of your new outlook. So eventually it'll blossom, and you'll be engaged and in the role, and hopefully in a better career than you were before. So if you've been through a layoff, please reach out to. I'd love to help if I can with anything you might have. Having been through it myself and kind of see where you need to go from here. Just having done it myself, I'd love to help you out. So, but keep your head up, keep your mouth open, and keep talking to people, and keep on learning and figuring out what you need to do to kind of progress. And we'll get through it all together. So I appreciate you guys' time this week. Thanks for joining in. I'll be here every Tuesday on Facebook at 2, as well as every Wednesday at 2 on my LinkedIn Live. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. And, again, be well, everybody.